and let us all do we can to build a better future.
We got some breaking news. Breaking news. Turns out Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network is Nostradamus. He predicted something. Yesterday. My meme was true. Bernie Sanders just endorsed Biden. Dude couldn't effing wait. Live footage of Bernie rushing to endorse Biden. There he is. Look at him go. Hold on, my good friend Joe. I'm coming, Joe. Yes, so if you haven't heard it already, Senator Bernie Sanders has just endorsed his good friend Joe 30330. Sanders forgoes a 2024 bid, endorses Biden. Who could have seen this coming? I have, and many other people. He even said it himself months ago that if Biden was going to run, he was not going to run. To all you Bernie Sanders supporters that were waiting in wings for Bernie 2024, do you finally get it now? I learned that lesson the hard way in 2020. I thought he would be ready. I thought his campaign would be ready for all the stuff that they went through in 2016. 4 years to prepare, and they didn't do jack. And when a situation tailor-made by the gods, COVID-19, to finally shine a light on all the income inequality. In fact, we don't have health care, Medicare for all in this country. You would think Bernie Sanders would jump on this opportunity. But no, what did he do? He kept calling his good friend, Joe Biden, his good friend. Never once standing up for his supporters. Once again, allowing corporate media and the Democratic establishment to do the same taxes they did to his supporters in 2020 like they did in 2016, smearing them, calling them Bernie bros, saying that they're all white males. Bernie Sanders took your money. He took my money. He didn't care for the people. He didn't care about his movement. He gave up on his people. I remember 2016, God damn it. I remember the Wells Fargo Center. Oh, all the Hillary Clinton people say, oh, there's peace and love, and everyone was happy. Hillary's going to be the nominee, and she's going to beat Trump. That's not what I saw, God damn it. I was there in the Wells Fargo Center. I saw Bernie Sanders supporters and Green Party people being spit on, being assaulted, being harassed by Clinton people. You know what? Honestly, I've seen more civility at Trump rallies in 2016 than anything I saw there at the Wells Fargo Center. And Bernie let that happen to his people. When we were starting off, Daniel and I was Hard Lens Media. When we were starting off, we spoke to some Bernie Sanders delegates. A lot of them, actually. And you know, they were all telling me the same goddamn story. We're getting threatening phone calls. I was groped and harassed. I was pushed down some stairs. I was surrounded. I was being followed. Oh, what? You didn't know that this was happening to Bernie Sanders delegates? Because it was. A lot of them were being abused and hurt. And what did Bernie do? He endorsed Hillary. He didn't fight. He didn't have what it took. He spoke a good game. But no, he didn't. He didn't care for his people. He didn't care for his people again in 2020. Kept on bowing down and compromising like the good cuck that he is. Senator Bernie Sanders said Tuesday that he's supporting President Biden's re-election in 2024 and is foregoing a third presidential bid. Sanders, the cuck who finished second to Biden in 2020 for the Democratic presidential nomination, made the announcement hours after Biden announced his bid for a second White House term. He also discouraged any progressive politician or individual from challenging the incumbent president, asking them to train their focus on defeating former President Donald Trump or another eventual GOP nominee. So you see now, he was never going to do it. Marianne Williamson and all your supporters. What were you waiting for Bernie Sanders to endorse you? RFK Jr. What the hell? You two, your two campaigns. Do you really think that you're gonna be given a fair shot? See, people have been saying, "Oh, Kit, you're so gloom and doom." No, I'm not. I'm actually being very realistic about it, and I'm actually smiling about this because seeing this happen for a third time, I'm very curious to see how these two campaigns play this out. Now, if you allow the DNC to stick it up your campaigns wazoos, Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr., I'm not going to be like, "Oh, what a crime! How sad this is." I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to mock you. You think a Trump supporter laughing and mocking you is going to be bad? No, it's going to be me. And I'm going to bring my whole audience, and I'm going to shine a light on how both your campaigns are getting screwed over by the Democratic Party. And I'm not going to tell my viewing audience how to vote, but I'm going to show them just how pathetic both your campaigns are if you're going to allow them, the DNC, to do to your campaigns like what happened to Tulsi Gabbard's campaign, what happened to Bernie Sanders. To all the volunteers for both campaigns, you really need to ask the leadership a serious question. What are you going to do about the election fraud? What are you going to do about corporate media smearing us? Because Bernie Sanders, who was, dare I say it, had a far more larger movement that he abandoned, didn't do jack to help his people. How are you two going to be different? And these are legitimate questions to ask. And here's how you know Bernie was never serious. Again, going back to Trump, I get that Trump's a bad president, but we have politicians who are far worse than him and who have successfully put on a neoliberal mask. Hey, Bernie, listen, here's something that you need to realize, and especially all the diehard Bernie Sanders supporters need to realize this too. When push came to shove, at least Trump fought for his supporters. He went that extra mile. Yeah. Trump's a scumbag. Yeah, true, right? Whatever. But at least he fought. At least he fought. Now, here's a quote from Bernie. The last thing this country needs is a Donald Trump or some other right-wing demagogue who is going to try and undermine American democracy or take away a woman's right to choose or not address the crisis of gun violence, racism, sexism, homophobia. So I'm in to do what I can do to make sure the president is reelected. Hey, Bernie, that was really crazy when Donald Trump and his administration got rid of Roe v. Wade and, wait, oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That happened under your good friend, Joe Biden. Well, I mean, it's at least, hey, at least Biden showed up for the people of East Palestine, Ohio. Oh, wait, he hasn't showed up there either. Trump did, though. Well, at least Biden didn't lead us into, oh, wait, hold on. We're actually in a ridiculous war in Ukraine. Okay, Bernie, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait just 1 minute, everybody. How about this? At least under Biden, the kids in cages are finally free. Oh, wait, they're still in cages. Huh. Hey, Bernie, nothing fundamentally changed. What the hell, dude? So again, Senator Bernie Sanders says people will do what they want to do. Senator said about a possible progressive challenger to the president. I think Joe Biden will be the Democratic nominee, and my job, and I think the progressive movement's job, hey, progressives, listen to this, is to make certain that he stands up and fights for the working class of this country and does not take anything for granted. So we just got to do what Cenk Uygur says, keep our powder dry, wait, be pragmatic, and hold Biden's feet to the fire. And I'm sure he'll move to the left. That's what the cuck Bernie Sanders is saying. Jimmy Dore was correct about Bernie from day one after 2016. Again, Jimmy Dore was right. He was correct. This isn't up for debate. This is not a conversation. This isn't anything to be like, well, wait a minute, Kit. What about this? No. So Bernie Sanders is telling the progressive movement to fully embrace the neoliberal architect, one of the many neoliberal architects, Joe Biden, to become reelected again. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. I know, controversial statement. What the hell is democracy? If you're a progressive, hell, you could be independent. Anyone can participate. Is it going to be your civic duty and job to listen to Bernie Sanders and help Joe Biden get reelected? Type 1 for yes, like, kid, I'm going to do it. We got to stop Trump. A type 2 is like, no, I'm not going to vote for any corporate politician. I might not vote at all. Let's have more democracy in the chat. Type 3 if you still have respect for Bernie. Type 4 if you don't. It's okay. I want to see some middle finger emojis. Now again, going on, Sanders, the cuck, had left the door open to a 2024 campaign for much of the past year, largely in case Biden, 80, declined to seek a second term. This man is 80 years old. And they're making sure there's going to be no debate whatsoever. Just remember that. There won't be a debate, folks. There won't be any primary debates. Marianne Williamson, RFK Jr. What the hell are you two going to do? And to all your supporters, like seriously, if you're a supporter for either RFK Jr. or Marianne Williamson, you need to really take a step back before you give any more of your hard-earned money to both campaigns. You really need to ask the candidates, and don't take a word salad answer as confirmation. What the hell are they going to do to deal with the election fraud? Because you guys are going to get smeared. You're going to get vilified. And if you're not ready, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh at you guys. I think it's pretty, again, it's pretty pathetic. But you know what else is pretty pathetic too? Look, young people, Gen Zers, you don't have to listen to me, but I don't want to see you go through the same pain that I saw happen in 2016 and 2020. Because if you think you're going to have a seat at the table, you're wrong. Progressive young voters to Biden energize us and win, or ignore us and lose. He's been ignoring you the entire time. And like any abusive spouse now or partner, they're going to stop hitting you and say, oh, I promise this time I'm going to be different. We're going to go on vacations. We're going to go to couples counseling. I love you. Oh, I'm sorry for that black eye. I didn't mean to punch you with the beer can in the eye. Things are going to be better. I was angry. You can't get me angry. You can't have me hit you. Come on. Seriously, Gen Z, wake up. They're not going to deliver anything. We need to deliver the bold ideas that our generation can't live without. Stop the climate crisis, fight for rights and dignity for immigrants. The kids are still in cages. Those kids are still in cages. Impose real control and run a bold platform that will get our generation out to vote. You know what they're going to do? They're just going to say, hey, we might kind of do something about Roe v. Wade if you elect us in, and then they don't do anything. Hey, Obama made that same promise too, and he had a super majority in the House and Senate. None of that happened. Gen Z, just look, I'm 38 years old. I'm not an old man yet, but just listen to me. Listen to me. They're not going to do jack, okay? I am so sorry. I hope none of you waste your time or energy canvassing for these jag-off politicians. Please, from the bottom of my heart, I hope you can see this, because it ain't going to look good. And to anyone young that's supporting RFK Jr. or Marianne Williamson, look, I get the enthusiasm of supporting a candidate that's saying things you want to hear and that they might challenge the establishment. But I saw it happen not once but twice, where Bernie Sanders and all the Democratic challengers endorsed the corporate nominee. So please, just a heads up. It's going to get brutal for you. But at least I gave you that fair warning. But if you don't believe me in regards towards Bernie Sanders and the kind of cuck that he is, listen to words of Jimmy Dore with Chris Hedges as well. Shout out to Compton Jay of RBN, Revolutionary Blackout Network. They do great work. Shout out to him. Here, there's two Bernie Sanders. Listen.
And let me just quote you, if I can. you wrote an article called "Et tu Bernie," and you did that, I think, in 2018. And here's some of it. Let me just read some of it. It says there are two versions of Bernie Sanders. There is the old Bernie Sanders, who mounted a quixotic campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination as a Democratic socialist who refused corporate cash and excoriated corporate Democrats. And there is the new Bernie Sanders, who dutifully plays by the party rules, courts billionaires, refuses to speak out in support of the lawsuit brought against the Democratic National Committee for rigging the primaries against him, and endorses Democratic candidates who espouse the economic and political positions he once denounced. Sanders, although he knew by September 2016 that the process was rigged, said nothing to his supporters. He was tacitly complicit in the cover-up. It was left to one of the architects of the fraud, Donna Brazil, to reveal the scam. But by then, it was too late. Sanders' capitulation in the face of the overwhelming evidence of the rigging of the nomination process was political and moral cowardice. He missed his historical moment, one that should have seen him denounce a corrupt, corporate-dominated party elite and walk away to build a third-party candidacy. Sanders will never recover politically.
Now, I want to pause it here because, again, I remember, 2016. Bernie had lightning in a bottle, and he let it go. He could have ran as a third-party candidate, but he didn't. He was so triggered and afraid of Trump. Bernie was never going to follow through. I'm so sorry. I learned that lesson the hard way in 2020. I thought he'd be ready. I was wrong. And I take back any kind word I ever said about Senator Bernie Sanders.
Those who support Sanders' capitulation, including his high-priced establishment consultants, will argue that politics is about compromise and the practical. This is true, but playing politics in a system that is not democratic is about becoming part of the charade. We need to overthrow this system, not placate it. Revolution is almost always a doomed enterprise, one that succeeds only because its leaders eschew the practical and are endowed with what the theologian Reinhold Niebuhr calls sublime madness. Sanders lacks this sublime madness, the quality to find Eugene Debs, and for this reason, Sanders is morally and temperamentally unfit to lead this fight.
And here's the thing. I know this will upset people, but everything that Chris Hedges wrote is correct. Everything that Jimmy Dore has called out in regards towards Bernie Sanders and the failure of his movement, correct. Jimmy Dore was correct. Hard Lens Media, we've been calling it out. RBN, Convo Couch. And the thing is, I think more and more people are waking up to the fact. I think so many people were so excited for Bernie to run again. But here's the real truth. RBN actually brought up this tweet. I want to give them a shout out because this is actually a hilarious tweet. The list of people, and this is from Correct the Record with Guillotines. Hey, look, it's AOCIA. List of people who will endorse Biden in 2024. Bernie Sanders, Marianne Williamson, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., especially to people who are supporting these two campaigns. Don't be surprised if they do that. Oh, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Ro Khanna, Kyle Kulinski, Mike Figueredo, Cenk Uygur. We got to support him, of course. Anna Banana, the Kasparian, David Sirota, Vosh, and Hassan Piker. And don't forget so many other fantastic people, too. They're all going to be jumping in line saying, we got to support Biden. When push comes to shove, people are more than happy to be complacent with the establishment. And Bernie is one of those people. The truth is about Senator Bernie Sanders, he never believed in his movement. He never believed in his message. And he never believed in you. That's the truth.